All right, Kobo Resources, Canadian junior, incorporated in Canada. The assets are in Côte d'Ivoire. The company was created way back in 2000, late 15, early 16. Started out as an alluvial play and morphed into a larger exploration permit standard with the larger companies. So we are in Côte d'Ivoire, West Africa, for those who are not familiar. Your standard disclosure. Here we are, we're smack in the middle of the country, Côte d'Ivoire, where our main assets are. Other than myself as CEO, the company is managed with two other expats, one being Paul Sargent, our president and COO. Paul is a geologist with 35 plus years of experience, as well as Chris Picken, geologist with the same number of years, give or take. And Chris happened to be the one who drilled the Yaouré mine site next door to us. So to date, we've completed nearly 20,000 meters of drilling on the Kobo project, which is our star project. We have another license in the east, 300 square kilometers, but that's much more grassroots as we're talking right now. In terms of infrastructure of the project, we have $0 to invest. We have road access from the east, from the west. There's a power dam basically less than 800 meters away from our license, and an operating mine less than 9 kilometers away from us. Also, we're in a friendly jurisdiction, which is Côte d'Ivoire, one of the best in West Africa, as you will see a little bit later. And Côte d'Ivoire happens to host 35% of the Birimian Formation of West Africa, compared to its neighbors, and it's a latecomer to the game in terms of exploration compared to Ghana, Burkina, and Mali, and others. And we have a great portfolio of assets going forward if we want to explore other opportunities in country. Here is your basic share structure. We have about 103 million shares outstanding. Management and insiders own nearly 40%. We have Luso Global Mining as a 9.9% owner. That's a 100% owned subsidiary of Mota and Jill. Some of you might know Mota and Jill is one of the top 15 EPC companies in Europe. Is also a mine contractor present in 10 mines in Africa, 4 of which are operated by them in Côte d'Ivoire. A couple of institutions in the name of Gold 2000 from Switzerland and Delbrook Capital from Vancouver, and the rest is the public float. We have about 5 million shares, options that is, outstanding, and 19 million warrants. Half of those expire at the end of March, and in order to be in the money, the stock price has to be at 40 cents. So that gives you a snapshot of the company. We recently raised last year 7.5 million, give or take, and that's when Mota and Jill, or through Luso Global Mining, invested half of that amount into the company. This is a snapshot of what Luso and Mota and Jill are. You'll be able to connect through their website and have more detail. But basically, it's a company that has been active as an EPC company and mine contractor for nearly or plus 70 years in Africa. They operate in 30 plus countries and so on. So as I mentioned, 2016 was really the initial discovery when we started out on the Kobo project in Côte d'Ivoire. It's about 35 kilometers away from the capital city of Yamoussoukro. We initially started out as an alluvial play. We had dug 164 pits, about 2 meters deep. Only but 9 did not have gold. We were finding very fine gold as well as coarse gold and nuggety gold. And then we happened to make a discovery where we channel sampled a wall face of rock over 18 meters, and that returned 4.6 grams per ton. So we then sat down with the government, petitioned them to change the allocation of the area, which was exclusively reserved to small mining, We were successful in doing that after 6 or 7 months, and applied for the license in the fall of 2016. It was awarded to us in 2019, and right after COVID, we began a geophysical survey. Once that was completed and we got the results, we started a geochem program on the property, sampling, trenching, etc. So we made in 21 an additional discovery at what we call now as Jagger Zone. We discovered 4 meters at 3.72 grams per ton and 6 meters at 5.3 grams per ton. So all that period from 2016 all the way to March 23, we were private. We raised $4.5 million through 55 high net worth individuals. We went public through an RTO in March of 23, and that's where we raised approximately $4.8 million. And that's when, excuse me, that's when Gold 2000 and Delbrook Capital came into the company. And that's also during that summer, we started our maiden drill RC drill program, did approximately 6,000 meters. And you can see the results there. They speak for themselves pretty well. So after that period, we reassessed the situation and planned for a diamond drill program, which commenced in the first quarter of 24. We did about 4,500 meters of diamond drill there. And then after the financing in July of last year, we started in September a 10,000 meter diamond drill program, which was completed in the first 2 weeks of February of this year. We finished just below 11,000 meters. And you can see the major results that are highlighted here on this screen. They are all great numbers, we believe, and strong going forward. This gives you a snapshot of on the left-hand side, the gold production of the various countries involved in the region, Guinea, Burkina, Mali, and Ghana. And as you can see, what I was mentioning, Côte d'Ivoire is way behind with a very low production, but also hosts 35% of the Birimian Formation, the host rock for gold. So it's a disconnect, but also a huge opportunity because of its untapped potential. And the map that you see on the right is the current situation in terms of discoveries and operating mines. There are actually 8 operating mines and 2 more to be coming online soon. This is the situation, how it was way back in 2014, just before the government amended the mining code. They did so in order to attract foreign capital and investment, and in order to speed up the exploration of the country in terms of its minerals. And their focus was to make exploration and the exploitation of their minerals the second economic engine after the cocoa production. So fast forward 10 years later, this is what the mining code has spawned upon the country. And they went from 22 tons of production of gold 10 years ago to nearly 60 tons right now. And they should be expecting to reach 65 and maybe 70 tons in the very near future with the 2 mines coming online, especially the Assafou project, which is owned by Endeavour Mining. Now, zooming in on the Kobo research permits, the one on the left side in red is the current Kossou project on which we are focused on. The blue square is the mine that is actually operated by Perseus Mining. That's a 2+ million ounce deposit. They are mining on average 250 to 275,000 ounces a year. And we are, like I said, literally 9 kilometers away from the license. And on the right-hand side, you can see the other license that we have in the east of the country. That's 300 square kilometers, and we are commencing some geochem program on that license, is more like grassroots. And the other 2 that are in the light brown are pending applications. Now, zooming in onto the Koso license, because that's where we've invested most of our money to date. We are actually active right here in the middle at about, excuse me, at about only 15% of the license. We have yet to explore the rest because of the success we've made so far. This slide represents a picture of what is happening at Koso license. Like I mentioned, the Yaouré gold mine is right over here in the top right-hand corner. That's where Perseus operates the Yaouré mine site. Over here, you can see the power dam that I was talking about. The first discovery we made was a road cut zone. The village of Koso is there. The Katy zone is an additional area that we discovered, and the Jagger zone is the one that has been so far mostly drilled. We established a base camp last summer in order to have our workforce present and nearby. So this gives you a snapshot of where we're operating. The main feature of the Koso license is that we are in a volcanic package, as you can see on the green on the right-hand side. The purple is the volcanic sediments, and we believe that the line between the two is what we call the contact zone between the volcanics and the sediments. This contact zone is also found at the Yaouré mine site and approximately 300 to 400 meters away from the main CMA pit. And in that area, they are mining an average of 5 to 7 grams per ton. Now, the Perseus mine next door is producing, like I said, 250,000 ounces a year. That production should start to decrease substantially by 2030 to give or take 100 to 110,000 ounces a year. So therefore, our goal and mission here is to prove as many ounces as we can in the next year or so in order to become a takeout target. On this slide, you can see the geochem results of the sampling we've done over the main area that we're focused on. The road cut zone is basically a strike extent of 1.6 kilometers, the Jagger zone nearly 2 kilometers, and the Katy zone is approximately 1 kilometer. The other zone, Kilo, Jagger South, we have barely paid attention to at this time because most of our high results are in this area. And the gap that you see right here in between these two, we intend to drill that to see if we can connect that. And if we're successful in connecting these two, the Jagger North to road cut south, we should have a strike extent of at least 3 kilometers in that area, which would be fabulous. This slide gives you a snapshot of the results on the Jagger zone to date, 33 RC holes. We're in 23 diamond holes, basically nearly 9,500 meters of drilling. You can see the results on the KRC holes, 48 meters at 1 gram per ton, 19 meters at 2, 20 meters at 1.7, 38 meters at 1.55, and 14 meters at 2.9, and so on. These are all grades that are mineable at our neighbor next door. They're on average processing the grade at between 1.5, 1.6 grams per ton. These slides represent a 3D model snapshot of what we have discovered to date and what the shearing and the gold mineralization seems to indicate. That's what we're seeing. The mineralization seems to be dipping slightly to the west, and it is so far we've drilled only to 175 meters. We have an advantage of being on top of a hill. Therefore, this is open pittable easily. We could easily go to 250 meters in an open pit, and the mineralization appears to be open at depth, so there is high potential for underground mining in this area. And by the way, Perseus at the Yare mine site was the first, or is the first mine in Côte d'Ivoire to obtain an underground mining permit. They've discovered approximately 500,000 ounces, and they are preparing to have access to that mineralization in the months to come. Another couple of cross sections here that representing the same thing at Jagger Zone. So basically what you're seeing is between sections 550 to 700, approximately 200 meters of strike, where we were able to identify strong mineralization in this area. And again, we're drilling on average between 125 to 175 meters in terms of depth. As far as the road cut zone is concerned, these are the results that we've obtained to date, 13 RC holes and 31 diamond holes. So approximately 8,000 meters of drilling. We're right now evaluating the results and planning for the next stage. Very good results as well on this zone of discovery. I'll spare you of reading all the results, but for example, 8 meters at 3.18, 11 meters at 6.77, and 9 meters at 4.27. Those are all great results, in fact, and pretty promising for the future. These are sections of the road cut zone, as you can see. So we were able to extend on this drill hole on section 550, the drill all the way down to the contact zone. We were able to identify 6 meters at 1.94, so that's quite promising. That contact fault and contact zone is considered to be a first order fault, and it measures approximately 6 kilometers that we have seen on the license. We have yet to explore it in detail. We are planning an RC program on this contact fault in the near future as of Q2. We're planning between 3,000 to 4,000 meters of RC drilling for our starters. And should the results be at the rendezvous, then we will expand the drilling program on that area specifically. Again, here you see section 600, more results. So we're seeing the shearing, panels of shearing and gold results at the RCZ. They seem to be so far quite frequent and present. So good grades and lower grades, well, all in all, very promising. And this is a less explored zone that we happened to discover by chance. This is an area where we get bonanza style grades. We've only done under 2,000 meters of drilling, but you can see on the diamond drill hole number 5, we drilled 9 meters at nearly 24 grams per ton, including one at 210 meters. So there are bonanza grade veinage in this area, and we intend to continue drilling and exploring that area. This is a snapshot of what we've done so far in terms of drilling on the property. And we are actually preparing our next phase drill program in the next month or so. The geologists will be looking at all the core and the orientation as well. We're having in a structural geologist that's going to come to our site. And the structuralist happens to be the same structuralist that worked for 7 years at the Yare mine. So he knows the belt very well and is a key asset in terms of personnel for us and guiding us with the future of our drill program. Not much to say on the Kobo license in the east, other than there was a mag survey that was done, it was interpreted, and we have areas of focus that we are currently focusing on right now. So we're pitting and sampling, and we will be intensifying our work program at that license with close to $1 million of investment this year on that permit. The timeline. So we just completed in Q1 the drill program that we talked about, 10,000 meters, give or take. So right now we're analyzing the results and preparing for the next drill program. So at phase 3, we intend to do between 20 to 30,000 meters of drilling during that this year. And we're going to be doing some initial characterization studies and advanced metallurgical work, excuse me. And as you can see on the right-hand side, our drill costs at $203 Canadian are quite advantageous compared to what we see in other jurisdictions. So right now we have $3 million in the bank. We're still well financed. We've got some warrants that come to expiration soon. We're probably going to go back to the market sometime in April or May in order to enhance our drill program. So other than myself and Paul that are managing the company, and Chris, our CFO, Carmelo Morelli, and what I can tell you is we are supported by a strong board of directors. Frank Ricciuti has over 50 years of experience in the business. Jeff Hussey, a geologist with Osisko Mining Group of companies. Brian Scott, a former B2 Gold VP of exploration. Vivek Darni, a representative of Mota and Jill, and Patrick Gagnon, a former capital markets advisor, broker. And a couple of outside advisors in the name of Marc-Antoine Audet, PhD, geologist, very well versed in Africa. Has spent the last 12 years in Côte d'Ivoire, specifically on other projects. Pierre Boivin, an attorney, and a local advisor for governmental affairs in the name of Roger Ingersoll. The rest of the presentation you can consult on our website. There is also a 3D presentation that is powered by Verify that will give you much more details in terms of the structures. So I don't want to keep you any longer with the presentation per se, and I will take questions now if you have any.
Thank you for all of this information. It's definitely worth every piece of gold for sure. So just a couple quick questions before you can pop off here if we could. With the recent high-grade gold intercepts at the Jaeger zone, including the 7.0 meters at 4.83 GT, how does Kobo plan to expand and delineate this mineralization to assess its full potential?
Well, with once we've completed the assessment in this month and part of March, we will begin the 30,000 meter drill program. A lot of it will be done on the Jaeger zone in order to kind of delimit the size of the elephant. That's the terms we are using right now, because we definitely don't know the extent, the size of the package. And we're going to be doing the same thing on the RCZ zone. So we're going to be allocating the meterage between those two main areas and about 3,000 or 4,000 on the contact zone. So I think that's where most of the dollars will be allocated. And we expect that to take us, I would say, about 6 months. And by the end of the year, early first quarter next year, we intend to come out with our first mineral resource estimate. So that's the game plan here that we intend to do. And the timing is kind of right, because I mean, in 2026, if we come out with a resource that is substantially interesting, if I may say so, for our neighbor, we definitely become a prime target for a takeout in that sense, because they'll need a couple of years to get ready to do some definition drilling, etc. And so far, the geology is quite similar to what they're mining next door. So there might not be much tweaking in the mill going forward. However, if we happen to be very, very lucky and have 1.5 million plus ounces on this deposit, having Mota and Jill on board gives us optionality to develop it ourselves. So we're not a stranded junior per se. We have muscle behind us that can take projects to the end.
Okay, so let's flip over to the $7.4 million that was raised from the recent non-broker private placement to accelerate its exploration program. You know, at your gold project, one of your gold projects, how do you intend to utilize that? I know that you mentioned a little bit, but can you expand on that a little bit more?
Well, we've already used a good portion of it in the sense that that money came in last summer. So we invested approximately 4 million on Koso with the drill program, give or take. We still have about $3 million in the bank. So therefore, after we finish our assessing at March, we can continue the drill program and then go back to the market and raise more money. Our plan is to raise, just for the Koso project, about $6.5 million, because that's what the 20 to 30,000 meters is going to take. We're going to allocate $1 million on the Eastern license, and we're poised to add a couple more licenses in the very near future. We've been looking at different projects in Côte d'Ivoire. There are a lot of private license owners that are looking for partners, and we're tapping that right now as we're speaking. So we should be making announcements in the near future on that.
And Edward, will you be at PDAC as well?
Yes, we will. You can meet us at booth 2650. We'll be happy to see you there and answer any questions you may have.
And we just have one more question that's come in. What was the strike price the last capital increase?
We did the raise at 35 cents and the RTO was at 25 cents. Each were a unit with a half warrant. So the full warrant on the RTO, which is coming due at the end of March, is 40 cents. And the full warrant on the raise of last summer is due in July of 26 at 55 cents.
And there you have it. There's all the insights, all the key takeaways to run to your portfolios and use that right away. Edward, thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you at PDAC as well.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.